Maybe a couple of weeks, a month. I don't know.
It's supposed to be. I think if I remember correctly, it's only supposed to be like a year later or something like that.
No, it starts a week after the end of the movie.
Yeah, yep,
a week, right after. So far, but like, just put the bat signal in the background in the sky at night. Just the little things like that. Something.
Yep. True.
Well, so you guys want to talk about this piece of shit Agatha finale or what? Like,
I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh my god, man!
I think the show is all right.
All I saw was some bullshit with a ghost or some shit like that or whatever.
From the comics.
I know she was a ghost in the comics, but like, I don't know, man. They lost me with this finale. I'm telling you right now.
And who does a fucking finale as a background, or like basically back information and
flashback in the finale was
and then having a little bit of present day at the very end. Oh
yeah, they give us no context to that flashback. Set of flashbacks.
You needed the Nicholas Scratch stuff. That's the only thing that was left hanging.
Yeah, that should have not been the finale.
I don't even understand what the Nicholas Scratch stuff even meant.
It's the reason all of this is happening.
I don't get it. They lost me a couple episodes ago.
Like that Nicholas Scratch information should have been the next episode after the episode when they talked about Nicholas Scratch. That would have made more sense in the timeline of the series. Most definitely. Then I think that would have made a lot more sense to everyone.
Sure. Yeah, because you were waiting for that. You were like, what about this Nicholas Scratch?
Yeah.
Well, here, let me go ahead. What's up, Andre's Pop Culture Guy? Let me read the synopsis. So in 1750, Agatha gives birth to Nicholas. The episode is called Megan Mother Crone, but is warned by death. The word crone reminds me of the TV series Willow, for some reason.
Mad Mardigan.
But is warned by death that she will eventually take him. Agatha spends the next 6 years raising her son while killing witches for their power, while Nicholas grows to oppose. Together, they create a children's song that would eventually become the Ballad of the Witch's Road and take a life out of its own. Eventually, Nicholas grows sick and death takes him, devastating Agatha. So I'll stop there. Imran, you like the finale. What do you think of the flashback sequences to start the finale?
First of all, that kid was not 6 years old. That kid was like 10 or 12. I'm like, that's not a 6-year-old, but whatever. This is the last thing outstanding for the show was the whole Nicholas Scratch. Is it her son? She thought Billy might be her son for a second. But the big reveal is we find out is the song was fucking made up. It was all bullshit. We're going to find out that Billy made the road, but the song wasn't even real. And it was all her using her son to lure in witches. And we learn Agatha essentially just a witch serial killer for hundreds of years. And if you notice, when she is giving birth and death shows up, they already know each other because she goes, "Please, my love, let me have more time." And it's very like when death takes Nikki, it's kind of sad, but I loved how they showed us her through the years. Witches were coming to find her to go to the road, and she would just kill them, and she was gonna do the same thing to this group.
That's the next part of the synopsis. Is that?
Oh, well, she's a witch serial killer. Yeah, and who is the father? Because she does say, I did no spell, I did no incantation. You were made from scratch. Is it Rio?
It was another immaculate conception. Immaculate conception.
Is that kid the prophet?
It was another force child.
It's and it's a lot like Star Wars, where it's a force child. But we know Wanda also created her children. They weren't real either. But she didn't have to go through birth. It was like that.
That's it, right? That's the process right there of how the baby was conceived.
You know, in that pose, the baby will just go back and forth between them inside. I don't know. It's not really helpful.
Like a shared custody, custody.
Yeah, just like in and out of get me out of these uteruses.
In and outy of each one of them. Yeah, that's actually really out there, Rod.
Yeah, it's a bad cycle.
Yeah.
So
Having the baby just hanging out there, fetus hanging out between the two women.
Shared fetus. Who gets the umbilical cord? Who gets the placenta? I don't know how these things work. I do know Nicholas Scratch does not have a father, and he doesn't have any powers. And they made up the song.
Who is Nicholas Scratch? The fuck? What
It's
is
her
up, Agatha? What is up, Agatha, all along? The fuck is that? I'm telling you. I don't like it when I'm talking to people and they're telling me about aspects of the show I'm supposed to be watching, and I have no idea what they're talking about. No clue. Andres, the pop culture guy, what do you think, sir? What did you think of this this very interesting throwback flashback epised intro? Like actually, it was like half the episode.
Yeah,
it was half the episode. Yeah, I rewatched it today because I saw this episode immediately after we did episode 8, and I gotta say, I thought this was a good flashback. I think this is the episode what episode 7 should be. When they were doing their flashbacks and like cutting in and out, I think this is the episode they shouldn't template it. But I thought that the flashback was really great. I mean, you have to admit the performances that these actresses had, especially with Agatha, was really great. I mean, the way they did. Fuck you, Cyber. Fuck you. I know it's you, my arch enemy.
Was that Chewbacca gargling? What was that?
Yeah, Chewbacca is telling us that, oh yeah, this is good, it's like he's having sex right now.
He's got some mouthwash. He's stinky breath.
Chewbacca uses whitening mouthwash.
Exactly. I thought the flashback was good. I thought it was very dramatic, and it gave us important information, and it just paid off the things that we know about these characters since episode 1. That's important. So the relationship of Rio and Agatha is like dated way back. They know each other, so okay, that makes sense. With the information we got, the Nicholas Scratch thing was a big surprise there. That he was supposed to die in childbirth, but Agatha gave more. Well, not Agatha. I'm sorry, Rio, aka Lady Death, gave more time for her to spend with the child, and excuse me, I thought that was like very intriguing, and she did care about Agatha. I mean, last episode you saw when she died, Agatha did finally die. Like she was a little saddened, so she wasn't like that crazy about her dying. So I appreciate that this relationship meant something, and it wasn't like this mean spirited kind of what relationship or something like that. I thought the twist, like, speak of double twist, like, okay, you got Billy doing he's the one that built the witch's world, and then all of a sudden the double twist is that her, Agatha and the son made the Ballad of the Witch's Road as well, and it's the biggest con ever. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I thought that was a neat twist. I thought that was like, it makes sense, because I thought initially from our predictions from this like couple weeks ago, it's like Agatha didn't went to the witch's role, but then this episode came in and it paid off that the witch's role is not real. It's actually a con that Agatha did with her son to train out the witch's powers, and as we seen previously in WandaVision, so. That was amazing. That made me really appreciate this episode. But yeah, I thought the beginning was good. It's well paced. I mean, look, if you want a bombastic finale like WandaVision did, then this is not the episode for you. So I'm sorry. So it's just talking and just paying off the things that we were setting up from episode 1, and they did it. Either you think successfully or not.
Okay, thank you, Andres, pop culture guy. Cyber, what do you think, sir?
Well, this episode, this one and the last episode really took a big turn for me for Agatha along, because up to that point, I had really enjoyed majority of the episodes, and most of them were decent. They had some good stuff going on them and stuff like that, and then these two happened, and it went completely downhill for me. This final episode, the beginning of it, I thought it was so stupid to go back and do a stupid backstory. I'm sorry. I just thought that was the stupidest fucking idea ever. And like Andrea said, yes, this should have been back during like episode 7. Most definitely around 7, 6, episode 6 or 7. They should have had this as a backstory episode where, you know, basically I think they kind of like royally screwed themselves over by putting this as a finale when not really giving it a finale. They gave it more of a, here, we're giving you more information. Think about that. And then it's ended. It did not make sense to how this finale went. It was the stupidest thing. And then going back to show how she had a kid and how, you know, how Nicholas came about and trying to reiterate the whole Nicholas thing from earlier. I just don't think it really was necessary to really talk about this kid because we already got kind of a thing. Rio saying, you know, the teen is not Nicholas. And, you know, this is a far less superior way of ending a series. So, you know, this portion, this whole episode, you know, like I was saying before, I just think it's a complete waste of an episode. But the portion we're talking about, I just didn't care for it. I thought it was stupid, and I thought it was unnecessary to close out this series.
I don't agree that I think the finale of WandaVision was better than the finale of Agatha. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I could see his point though. You can make the argument that this finale was a better resolution. I've heard other people say that too. They've liked this finale better than the WandaVision finale. It mirrors it in a lot of ways also, but perhaps there's more payoff.
Well, I did not really like this finale, so I'm just going to read the rest of the synopsis.
Okay.
And we'll just do our thoughts on the final half of the episode, thoughts on the series, our ratings, and then we'll do our plugs and we'll get out of here. I did not enjoy. I'm just going to put it out there flat out. I did not enjoy Agatha all along that much. It had some. At least I gave it a chance for the first couple episodes. I was really hanging in there with it, but they lost me at some point. And I just kind of like fell off a little bit with the show. But so
it's the witches, isn't it?
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean,
it could be like Imran said. So with nothing holding her back because of the death of Nicholas Scratch, Agatha spends centuries murdering witches and stealing their powers by conning them with the promise of the road. In the present, Agatha, now a ghost, tells Billy that he made the previously non-existent road a reality with his magic. Billy blames himself for the deaths of Lila, Alice, and Sharon, but Agatha retorts that she was already planning to kill them and that Jen is still alive. Billy returns to Westview and tries to banish Agatha. She resists, afraid of having to face Nicholas in the afterlife. Billy relents and allows Agatha to guide him. After seeing the entrance to the road and recording the names of the fallen, Billy and Agatha set out to find Tommy. So that's what they were going to do, to find Tommy? Okay.
Yeah, find his brother.
All right. I'll go right back to you, Cyber. Your thoughts on the back half of the episode.
Pretty much as I said in the previous portion, I did not care for this episode at all. Even this latter half, I did not care for. Agatha being a ghost now, even though it's in the comics, I don't think that works out very well for where they're trying to go in the MCU. So I just think that was stupid and, just was not my cup of tea. I just did not enjoy it. I didn't find it entertaining. And I don't think it, expands on the story very well. I don't know where that's going for Vision Quest when, this is supposed to add to that. Like this was supposed to add to WandaVision. As the comment section was saying about, WandaVision, that a lot of people prefer this ending versus WandaVision. I prefer the ending of WandaVision better. That's just my opinion. That's my thought process. I really don't care what everybody else thinks. That's my opinion. And I think that this finale was just completely useless. Like I said before, they could have used this in the episode prior to, like, say, one of the other episodes, and that would have made a lot more sense. This was not put together very well. And once, unfortunately, that has kind of become the habit of, the last phase of the MCU, unfortunately. There's just not a lot of great stuff. So, like I said before, too, I really was enjoying this series until these last two episodes. the last 2 episodes just killed it for me. You know, I think that, you know, killing off Agatha was the stupidest thing. I think that, you know, Death getting what she wants was not the way to go. You have the ability to change things from the comics, to change things and do your own thing. And you could have gone a completely different direction. So I just think the way they went, I just don't think it was a very entertaining way of going. So overall, the ending of this, I think, was just was not entertaining or fun, and lost me, unfortunately, for, you know, Agatha. So yeah, not that great of a finale for me, and just not overall very satisfying.
Okay. Andre's pop culture guy.
Yeah, sure. If I get cut off, it's my internet is it's acting up. So very quickly, I thought this sequence was pretty good. I mean, I really appreciate the Billy and Attica relationship, and it was really cool how, you know, everything paid off with the episodes. You know, particularly.
Oh, I think we lost Andreas. So if we lost Andreas, I'll give him a 3 count. 1, 2, 3. You know, I guess that's not going to work. I guess we lost Andreas, the pop culture guy, for a while.
He did just warn us.
He did warn us. That was very
Time
special
cop.
of him.
Time cop is.
The countdown for Andre's the pop culture guy.
He'll appear in the past from the future.
He just fucked up his opportunity to talk, so you could talk, sir. And then when he comes back, he'll get the finish.
Okay. I appreciate actually with this show. I actually found it overall. I thought the writing was better than some of the last few shows. The performances are great. They actually explained like 90% of the things they set up. Oh, there he is. How's your internet?
Now it's better.
So I did appreciate him, the fact that he made the road, how he realized seeing all the tchotchkes in his room, because they were showing us this the whole time. There were things in all the witches' trials on the road that were in his room. So there's tons of Easter eggs for this. And so it all kind of made sense to me. I was like, this actually makes sense. And Agatha, as far as Agatha's journey, I like that they're going to be a little team now, and she can help him. And if he is as strong as Wanda, like he made his own hex underground, like that's pretty powerful. If he's strong as Scarlet Witch, you could do the same thing. Like that's kind of crazy. I did kind of wish they found Tommy, or we got a little bit more closure on Tommy, but they cleverly left a few threads they can pick up on, but largely explained all the weird things that they had set up. So I appreciated the payoff, and I thought it was well thought out. It was written to explain things, and there isn't stuff they just left hanging. But yeah, the whole part at the end is emotional, where he's trying to banish her. Yeah, bless you, sir. And she confesses she doesn't want to die because she can't face Nikki because of what happened. And I would like to see more death. And I do think it is a good compliment to WandaVision. Like it's the same creative team. The one thing that really struck me, though, it felt more Disney than Marvel. I think I may have said this last week. That was the only thing. Tonally, was weird. It's like a little more. Maybe it's because of all the witches, but Catherine Hahn is phenomenal. Aubrey Plaza is just scary and sexy in the best way combination. Yes, Agatha or Jen joining the Midnight Suns team in the comics. Jennifer Kale is Ghost Rider's cousin. And if this leads into the Vision show, and then they have like a standalone Scarlet Witch show, I think there's a lot of potential to further develop these storylines. But they could be in Midnight Suns. Jennifer Kale is his cousin, so and the fact that he felt bad about the death, like the death stuck. That's another thing I was wrong. I was like, they're probably all gonna bring him back. They're gonna do some silly thing, and everybody's fine. No, they're all dead. They're gonna stay dead. So I appreciated that they stuck to their deaths, and they did think things out. It was well thought out. The show kind of grew on me. My favorite episodes though are the Billy recap episode and the Lilia time jumping episode. I think those are the strongest episodes of the season. These two are okay, but I did feel they stuck the landing to a degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andres, you want to finish up what you were saying before?
Yeah. I thought this finale part was, you know, I know it's very small, it's not action packed, but it was very important to get, you know, pay off the things that we know, like last episode, you know, like everything was Billy's doing, you know, this was Billy's, you know, like, you know, hex, basically, you know, it was, you know, and I thought this was a much realized concept than say maybe the hex. If you didn't like the sitcoms, I think this was like a really neat idea of what you could have done with the hex if they had more control. And you know, Everett, you brought up, you know, Disney tone. I think for me, one of the things what I love about this show, it was self-contained. You know, it wasn't like, you know, yes, it's not an MCU film, but I liked it. I liked it that way because I didn't need these MCU connections, and I felt that was one of the things that was successful about this show. You know, with WandaVision, it was like it was very much an MCU thing. You know, like, you know, having Darcy, agent, who was it from the Ant-Man films, Wu or something like that, came back, and you know, of course, Monica was in that. You know, to set up her up in the Marvels. You know, all that, and then, you know, of course, Scarlet Witch. We have to set up Scarlet Witch. You know, it was a lot of things here, and you know, Judge is talking in the comments, and he brought up something with the payoff. Like with this, it's so self-contained. They can do a second season on Agatha and pay off the timing thing. Where the issue I have with WandaVision, I think, was because of the Doctor Strange 2 thing. Because what they did to Wanda, it you know, I'm sorry, but like, it soured my kind of taste or my feelings towards the WandaVision ending. So with this, it's like, I don't know what's gonna happen, you know, and I appreciate that. Like, I don't need to know what's gonna happen next. Like, I just know that we're gonna get Young Avengers. Tommy is coming back. Okay, I get that. That's good, you know. So like, we are building to that, you know, because we already have, you know, Kate Bishop and the other young kids. So I think that's one of the things I really like about this ending. And thank goodness they didn't have post-credit scene, because that could have drove me nuts, you know, not to pay off like that a complete phase 4 or 5 post-credit scenes, you know. Yeah, I thought it was a good finale. I thought it paid off things. It's not a perfect show. I will have to say there were a couple of things I was kind of surprised they didn't do, but you know, I felt like we were kind of expecting on that, but we'll get into that when we did our overall series review. I think the ending was good. You know, it stick the landing, which I was hoping for compared to other Disney Plus shows that we watched recently.
Okay. Cyber, do you have any general thoughts on the series itself?
So, like I said, overall, you know, the series up to episode 8 was fun. I enjoyed it. I found a lot of it fun. I found a lot of it funny. I enjoyed the very first episode where they get onto the road, they sing the song. I thought that was fantastic. The episode where they're in the sleepover, like treehouse, that was a great episode. I thought, you know, majority of the tasks were fun to watch. I found that very good and very entertaining. I thought they were really solid episodes. But like I said, these final 2 episodes just totally ruined it for me. And I just didn't find it enjoyable. So overall, you know, I think it was a decent series up to a certain point, and then, like I said, it just fell down. And you know, that's too bad, because there was so much promise those first, you know, 7 episodes. And it's sad that, you know, the final 2 episodes had to be that ended up the way they did, and they thought that was a good idea to go in that direction. So I just think that Jack Schaefer did a way better job with WandaVision than she did with this. Up until, you know, episode 8, I thought that she had done a better job with this, until I saw those final 2 episodes, and then it went back to her not being as great of a showrunner as I thought she could have been. So I think that there was a lot of potential for those final 2 episodes especially, with Wiccan, with Agatha, with Rio. We got a little bit of Rio, not very much. And, we could have done a lot more with her. And I think that, Aubrey Plaza, did a great job. I enjoyed Aubrey Plaza, just like, Mr. Imran said, she's, very creepy, but at the same time, very hot.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that, but it's amazing.
She does a great job at it.
Yeah.
And she's definitely one of those people that she kind of grows on you. She her outside appearance, I should say. Her acting has always been great. I mean, from the Parks and Rec through anything I've seen her in, she's always been great. I always enjoy her. And everyone else in the show, I always enjoy watching and a lot of things. And I think that they all did a decent job as well. So overall, like I said, I think it was a great show up until episode 8, and then they fell off the wagon for me. A lot of people, I know I've seen people say they think that the writing in the show was so fantastic, upped it from WandaVision. I personally don't agree. I'm sorry. I think it's about the same average level. I think that both series have had. I think the writing has been the same in both. I think that, she did a great job giving us some different stuff, but at the same time, she didn't write it all. There were other writers on the series too as well. So you got to remember that it wasn't all Jack Schaefer that wrote it. So maybe some of those episodes that maybe people found better might have not been written by her, or those episodes were, and then the other ones weren't. We don't know unless you look it up. But I think overall, like I said, the project was decent. And it just could have ended better, I feel. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Okay, Imran, did you have anything else to say? I know you already talked on the last time you talked about the show.
I just want to say overall, I feel pretty confident and say I feel like this is a good show. Here's what it had going for it that some of the others didn't. It's proper episodic writing. There was a beginning, middle, end overall, and each episode had a beginning, middle, end. It wasn't like a long movie cut into pieces. So I love that, because that's what they need to do more of. That's where some of the other series fall. I thought the performances were great. The production design, actually really fun. I really loved the look of these castles. Their costumes were fantastic. It had a song that was pretty fucking catchy. Like, it was a decent song. It gets stuck in your head. Dealing with the Maximoff kids is a huge thing, and I think that really ties it in to the larger lore, and that needed to be done. Seeing how Billy finds his body, seeing how Billy kind of guides Tommy to another body, is all very cool. And it was confident. It knew what it was doing. It knew its target audience was. It knew where it was going to end. And it ended there, and it took you there. So overall, I thought it was better. Here's what the problem was. Before it came out, they announced Echo and Agatha, and I was like, these are two characters nobody cares about. What's the point? And then we got Echo, and it was not good. And so that really lowered my desire for Agatha, because I'm like, oh, another character nobody cares about. But she seems to be pretty integral. She's brought Wiccan out, full-formed Wiccan, and she's mentoring him. And I don't know. I thought the writing was well thought out, as explained. And it was just a confident show, knew what it was, knew what it needed to do, and it did it.
Okay. Andres, do you have any thoughts on the show overall?
Yeah. I really enjoyed this show. I think it was the better offering that Marvel did this year. Over Echo, Secret Invasion. Like, this was top tier television, but not the best, I have to say. I cannot say that with Shogun or Fallout, X-Men 97, or Penguin right now. I cannot really say that, but it's up there. I think I agree with Emma when he's saying that this was a proper episodic show that was really good. I thought this show did a really good job of expanding on Agatha, her background, and made her be more of a fleshed out character, which I appreciate, because let's face it, she was just kind of there in WandaVision, she was just there to be the villain, it was just the typical MCU villain, she didn't have some, depth or something like that. She was just there to capture Wanda's power because she was the Scarlet Witch. And I thought the show did a really good job. And what I appreciate about the show, it kept Agatha as a villain. That was something I was worried about towards the end of the show. And the fact that she's still, Agatha is really great. She didn't go for an arc.
Is she good though at the end when she's a ghost? Do you think she's good now because she doesn't have to kill witches anymore? She doesn't have to be good.
I don't know. No, I think she will become more like an anti-hero, but differently. Like she's still a selfish person that will probably do her own like agenda behind your favorite characters and the back. Like she did that with Billy a couple times, or like already in the season. So she would probably do that again with Billy when they get to Tommy, because now we know that Rio doesn't want Tommy or Billy to come back because of their abomination and the second life they're getting.
Right.
So I think that's going to be very intriguing when we get back to pick up the storyline, either in the Scarlet Witch movie or, whatever project we'll see them, right? I could see this also be a new version of the TrueKnowledge Crusade, because I could see Agatha taking over the Vision role, if you think about it, because it doesn't make sense with the new Vision, taking his role like from the comic books. I just think Marvel will change it up, and I think placing Agatha as that place makes a lot of sense, because she's doing her role as the mentor as she did with Scarlet Witch in the comic books, and the fact that they taking her to with Billy, it's very intriguing. But that say, I there are some problems I have with this show, and not minor ones. But my thing is, these Disney Plus show needs to change their hours. Like, it just drives me nuts. I think these episodes could have been great if they had the Penguin hour, like an hour long, like of like television, because I feel like if they had more time to flesh out these like plot points, storylines, I think we could have been more satisfied as a group to like really appreciate the show and what they're doing, because there were times where they were rushing and some of the trials that we saw with each character felt rushed, and that like at times it was like really, okay, like I did like, okay, like I supposed to care, but like I didn't, because it was just too fast for me to grasp. Like Alice episode was the weakest. I mean, Judge brought it up. I mean, it's the weakest of the bunch because it's so short, and like it's like you're throwing me like, oh my god, Alice is cursed, and then we got Rio there, and she's explaining about the bodies and all that. It's like, oh my god, it's like too much. Like, you cannot do that in like 45 minutes, or whatever that minutes is for that episode, right? Yeah, and of course, I just like WandaVision, I thought some of the theories, some of the stuff I thought they were going to set up that didn't pay off. Like, I thought we are going to get an explanation about the was it the Darkhold, and we didn't get that.
Oh, why they say she swapped her son for the Darkhold? It's just a myth or something. Yeah,
myth, something, which it's true, is a myth. I think Agatha, like, I think this episode cleared up that is like, look, Agatha just allows this to kind of like build up the myth about her as a witch, Agatha, it makes sense. But I was kind of curious, like, what, like, how she got the Darkhold. Like, if it was not connected to Nicholas Scratch, that's fine. But I thought you could have done something more, because I do want to see the Darkhold come back, because I didn't like that we got rid of it in Doctor Strange 2. I don't know. So I just thought that was a mistake they did, but we'll see. There was other ones. Rio, I agree with Cyber. I kind of wish we had more of Rio as a character, as Death, but we didn't get that. But the time we got with her, it was great. Like, I think Audrey Plaza really pulled the character and made me really like this character. That's the great job of an actress like her, and she really delivered that version of Lady Death. And I'm so happy she's in the MCU, so at least I can take that. Yeah, I think that's it. I really love the show. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely a better MCU project we had recently since like Loki season 2, and live action. So that's my thoughts on the series.
Okay, well, do your rating for the episode, and then we'll get everybody else's rating, and we'll get out of here.
Sure. I'll give this a 8 out of 10. I thought it was good. It's not like top tier finale. It was a decent finale that like stick the landing, like paying off, the storyline stuff like that they set up in episode 1. They did it good. And thankfully there was nothing that any movie coming will hurt the show, like what happened with WandaVision to Doctor Strange 2. That's the thing that really hurt that with that finale. And which I still like the finale, but it was frustrating what Doctor Strange 2 did. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Really good finale.
Okay, I'll give it a 4. Imran, what do you got?
I'll give the finale the same thing I give the whole show. It's like a 7.5. Like I think it's a good show. Out of all of them, out of all the Marvel shows, it's probably be like my 4th favorite behind the Loki seasons. I love Miss Marvel. I still do really like WandaVision. I mean, it's better than She-Hulk. It's better than Secret Invasion. It's better than Echo. Possibly better than Hawkeye. So it's above middle kind of, but it's good. I was surprised that it was good.
Okay, Cyber.
So episode 8 and 9, I give each a 1. And overall, the series I give a 5. Like I said, there was good parts to it. There was good ports to it. Good points, good acting, good visual effects, good, other things and stuff like that. But those last 2 episodes really killed the series for my rating. So I have to give it a 5 out of 10 because those final 2 episodes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's give everybody a chance to talk about their content now, since we're done with our Agatha episode 9 review. So I'll start with you, Imran, with the Jock and Nerd podcast.
I am content. I'm content. If you love audio podcasts, pull up any of your podcast apps. Follow the Jock and Nerd podcast. New episodes every week, discussing all things MCU, DCEU, Godzilla, action movies. We also just reviewed the finale, and next week we will be discussing the Penguin finale, which is amazing. But coming up, excited for Gladiator 2. We just love to geek out about stuff. It's myself and my co-host, the Jock, and there's a puppet named Rug Boy. For some reason, why puppet on an audio podcast? Well, I don't know. Why not?
Okay, thank you, Imran. We appreciate you. All right, Andre's the pop culture guy.
See, well, I want to say thank you everyone for joining us today. Very sad day of us on behalf of Agatha a lot. Really like the show. So I recently I recently did a live stream review on Goldfinger. Check that out. It's the Andreas Pop Culture Recap, and I did there as well, like talking the final thoughts on Agatha along episode 8 and 9, and of course Daryl Dixon. So check that out. Recently I posted a trailer for Goldfinger for the 60th anniversary. Tonight after this podcast, or live stream, sorry, I'm gonna post my Incredibles 20th anniversary. That fantastic Pixar film is 20 years old, which is crazy. So I'll post it tonight, and that's where I'm at. And watch out for me. Me and Cyber are going to do a Nosferatu 2 live stream review, so check out for that. Oh, no? Okay. Well, Cyber will explain that. Sorry. But yes, that's where I'm at right now and my content.
Okay, Cyber.
Well, as always, people, as if you enjoy me as a moderator or on the panel on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, you can check out my solo content. You can find me under Cyberneticshark. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, Threads, pretty much anywhere there's a social media platform, I am there. And as Mr. Andres has mentioned about a live stream, I will be doing a live stream soon. I have not come up with a definitive date yet. I unfortunately feel that Mr. Andres misinterpreted what I said to him last week.
Yes, my bad.
But it's all good. It's all good. We will have a definitive date for that eventually here soon. Mr. Jeff will be joining us along with Mr. Andres, the pop culture guy. But you see there, my most recent review, of course, is the Joker, a Folie et Doigt, and of course the Wild Robot there. If you have not seen either of those, check out those reviews. Wild Robot is a fantastic film. Joker, surprisingly, even though it didn't do very well, the movie itself, actually, I really enjoyed for the most part a lot more than the first film. So you'll see that in my review. So definitely check that out. You can see there, my most recent mini reviews have been Wonder Woman and then Flipper, the 1996 reboot of the film series with Elijah Wood, Paul Hogan. Great film. Just watched it the other day. Hadn't seen it in like at least a good decade. And still a great film, even almost 30 years later. It turns 30 in 2026. So it's funny watching these older movies now, from the 90s going, holy crap, that's 30 years old. I'm like, shit, I'm getting old. But anyways, it's fun to see some classics like that. So if you haven't seen that film, definitely check out that mini review. It's a really great film. Be having more stuff up for you guys soon, more reviews of some more recent films, and definitely be having a few more shorts for you guys soon, maybe some trailer reactions. And as always, if you like it, please subscribe. Please check out my Patreon. Really fun stuff there. Outtakes and bloopers there for you guys. And keep on trekking, keep on getting us there and helping us become the masters of the YouTube.
Did you guys like this better?
Appreciate everybody out there.
I was just gonna ask, did you guys like this better than The Acolyte? Because it's the only Witch comparable show that we recently watched.
Yes, liked it better than The Acolyte, most definitely.
Yeah.
At least there's
100%.
At least there's that. Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess out on witches. Like, fuck these witches.
Victor there.
Agatha. All right.
Yeah, Victor in the
folks.
comments there. Agatha is better on the Rotten Tomatoes. I really don't care what Rotten Tomatoes says. I think Loki definitely season 2 was far superior than Agatha.
I agree. I don't agree with Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, Loki is better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right. God bless everybody out there. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday evening. We will see you later. Peace. We're out of here.